Welcome to this compilation of historical images that I have lovingly restored and colored.
Hovering U.S. Army helicopters pour machine gun fire into a tree line to cover the advance of South Vietnamese ground troops in an attack on a Viet Cong camp 18 miles north of Tay Ninh, near the Cambodian border, in March of 1965. A South Vietnamese Marine, severely wounded in a Viet Cong ambush, is comforted by a comrade in a sugarcane field at Duc Hoa, about 12 miles from Saigon, on August 5, 1963. A platoon of 30 Vietnamese Marines was searching for communist guerrillas when a long burst of automatic fire killed one Marine and wounded 4 others. Flying low over the jungle, an A-1 Skyraider drops 500-pound bombs on a Viet Cong position below as smoke rises from a previous pass at the target, on December 26, 1964. Partially covered, a dying Viet Cong guerrilla raises his hands as South Vietnamese Marines search palm groves near Long Binh in the Mekong Delta, on February 27, 1964. The guerrilla died in a foxhole following a battle between a battalion of South Vietnamese Marines and a unit of Viet Cong. A father holds the body of his child as South Vietnamese Army Rangers look down from their armored vehicle on March 19, 1964. The child was killed as government forces pursued guerrillas into a village near the Cambodian border. Bombs explode in the Cholan section of Saigon during Mini Tet Offensive, May 1968. Vietnamese soldiers capture a communist Viet Cong guerrilla hiding in high swamp grass during an operation 15 miles south of Da Nang in Quang Nam Province in Vietnam on March 28, 1965. 5 Viet Cong guerrillas were reported killed and 30 taken prisoner in the action. South Vietnamese forces escort suspected Viet Cong officer Nguyen Van Lem on a Saigon street February 1, 1968, early in the Tet Offensive. Moments later, Lem was executed by General Nguyen Ngoc Loan, chief of the National Police. U.S. Marine Sergeant Lau Lewis of Tacoma, Washington, carries a wounded fellow Marine on his back to reach stretcher bearers at the base of a hill, April 28, 1965. U.S. Marines carry their weapons even to take a bath, which is where they are headed near their camp in Chu Lai, Vietnam, on January 16, 1966. Captain Charles S. Robb, U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson's son-in-law, serving during the Vietnam War in Da Nang, Vietnam, on May 22, 1968. Wounded South Vietnamese forces after fierce fighting with Viet Cong at Chio Rio, Vietnam on July 7, 1965. Faces contorted, clothing ripped, U.S. 1st Cavalry Division troops dash through the battlefield under Viet Cong fire to reach the evacuation helicopter, January 31, 1966, as helicopters left the site near Hai Chow Graveyard. A U.S. Marine keeps a close watch on a young Vietnamese boy suspected of being a Viet Cong agent, June 5, 1965. The boy was trussed and kept under close watch. He was rounded up as 500 Marines took part in a large sweep and destroy operation along the Yen River, 6 miles from Da Nang. With the persuasion of a Viet Cong-made spear pressed against his throat, a captured Viet Cong guerrilla decided to talk to interrogators, telling them of a cache of Chinese grenades on March 28, 1965. Thousands attend a rally on the grounds of the Washington Monument in Washington on April 17, 1965, to hear Ernest Gruening, a Democratic senator from Alaska, and other speakers discuss U.S. policy in Vietnam. Flag-draped coffins of 8 American servicemen killed in attacks on U.S. military installations in South Vietnam on February 7 are placed in transport plane at Saigon, February 9, 1965, for return flight to the United States. For ranch hand C-123 aircraft spray liquid defoliant on a suspected Viet Cong position in South Vietnam in September of 1965. The 4 specially equipped planes covered a 1,000-foot wide swath in each pass over the dense vegetation. A Vietnamese battalion commander, Captain Thach Nguyen, left, interrogates a captured Viet Cong suspect on Tan Dinh Island, Mekong Delta, in 1965. A Strategic Air Command B-52 bomber with externally mounted, 750-pound bombs heads toward its target about 56 miles northwest of Saigon near Tay Ninh on November 2, 1965. Wounded and shocked civilian survivors of Dong Zoe crawl out of a fort bunker on June 6, 1965, where they survived murderous ground fighting and air bombardments of the previous 2 days. A Vietnamese girl, 23 years old, was captured by an Australian patrol 30 feet below ground at the end of a maze of tunnels some 10 miles west of the headquarters of the Australian Task Force, 40 miles southeast of Saigon. 1966. Women and children crouch in a muddy canal as they take cover from intense Viet Cong fire at Bao Tre, about 20 miles west of Saigon, on January 1, 1966. A Marine, Top, wounded slightly when his face was creased by an enemy bullet, pours water into the mouth of a fellow Marine suffering from heat during Operation Hastings along the demilitarized zone between North and South Vietnam on July 21, 1966. A U.S. Marine CH-46C night helicopter comes down in flames after being hit by enemy ground fire during Operation Hastings, just south of the demilitarized zone between North and South Vietnam on July 15, 1966.